Maybe we can start again with a stand-up. So a stand-up is a typical meeting that most developer teams have somewhere in the morning usually, where each team member gives an update on what they have been working on the previous day and what they are going to work on this day. And also talk about impediments, where they're stuck, if they need help and stuff like this. Yeah, so last week I worked on the sidebar navigation. This turned out to be a bit more, take a bit longer than I expected. I guess the reason was that there was a lot of setup that I still had to do, like things with Storybook or Cypress, also testing in general. Things weren't working as smoothly yet, so yeah. But finally we got this merged. So actually this is now in the main branch, so we can move this to done. And then I picked a smaller ticket for Friday, which was simplify access to the theme and style components. And here you can see the purpose of the ticket. So basically, this seems very ugly and hard to read, and I wanted to look more like CSS. So use this utility functions, color, and space. Yeah, and that's basically what I did last week. I will show you the pull request in a bit, so we can step through the changes that I still did, like off screen. And yeah, today I would like to start with a project list user story. This is a bit more complex task, at least from the business logic. We will need to do some setup here as well with a React query or some other query library. But for now, there are some preparation tasks, which are basically just UI, the page container, this batch component, and like this project card. I will probably start with this one here, because this might be the most interesting to you. If I don't get this finished today, I will do this here off screen. I guess it's not so super interesting. Yeah, that's it from me. Now, usually you would give your update, but yeah, since this is me working alone, yeah, that's it. Yeah, let's start with a PR here for the utility functions. So let's see. Last week, yeah, I still had a problem with Jest, I guess. This was because TypeScript wasn't properly set up. So Cypress internally uses Chai or Mocha for the test assertions. So inside the test, it was like the expect. I will show you. That's not here, but the assertions were always like the types were Chai and Mocha types. But I also introduced Jest test now, and the Jest tests use Jest for assertions. So there was like the types were overloaded. The thing that I had to do was like introduce a second tsconfig file. The first one, this is the standard one in the root of the repository, and this uses now the Jest types. And this one here, Cypress tsconfig.json. This is specifically for the Cypress test. So this extends the root TypeScript file, but then the types are Cypress and testing library Cypress. So this works really well now. I can also show you quickly in the code. So here we have the theme.test file. And as you can see here, this is now Jest describe and just it. And here's Cypress. Here you can see the tsconfig. And this is the test here. So here we have it is mocha.test function. And also, I don't know, we have an expect somewhere. This is try expect. Okay, so this took some time to find somewhere in a GitHub issue in the Cypress repository. But yeah, finally I fixed that. So this one you already saw in the live stream. Now I also added 2 more functions, breakpoint and z-index, to access the rest of the themes. So I can quickly show you. So we now have color, space, breakpoint, and z-index. And this basically mirrors the structure of the theme object. And then let's see. So this was more of a boring task where I basically just refactor everything from, here you can see theme color, or here theme space, to use the space function. Yeah, so I can also show you in the code quickly, and this is a bit more, oops. Here, for example, you can see now it uses z-index with a calculation here, and color, the color function, here's space. I think that this is a lot more readable now. I mean, with breakpoint desktop, for example. Yeah, like these especially are pretty much better. Yeah, so this is basically it for this PR. And now let's get this merged. So it's inside our main branch. We can also have we actually did the review already, so not much essential changed here. So let's press the confirm squash and merge button. And now this is the latest commit. Okay, cool. So we are also done with this one. Maybe like usually we should maybe wait until the test also run on the main branch, but since not much happened, the same test already ran on the pull request, so we can move it already to done. Now let's start with a project list user story. I will already move this to in progress. I won't directly work on this because we created some subtasks. Okay, the screen is hard to read. You mean the text here, I hope. So this will be a bit hard for coding maybe. Let's see. So the task that I would like to do today is first the page container. Let's check this out. This is a more boring task. It's just like the wrapper around the page here. And then we have a batch component. The ticket doesn't say a lot here, but this is basically this small batch here. So just a quick heads up maybe. This is the page that the user story is about. So it shows a list of projects. And we will work later on a more complex page, this one, where we can see the issues for each project. The app itself is an error tracking tool. So basically an application can send issues or errors that were unexpected or also expected to this backend in the cloud. And then the developers can log in to the screen and yeah, see what kind of issues they have in the applications to fix it. Yeah, so this is obviously much more complicated, but today we will start with this, and this data will come from an API. And we have separated it into multiple smaller tasks, and the first task is just simply this component because it's reused here as well, for example. So yeah, we have to implement that first to get started. Yeah, so let's continue with that. I will use Storybook to create this component, and for now I will just create a folder here, and then batch tsx index ts. This will be the public API. Let's actually check. I will quickly move the screen here. So we have the UI kit here, which is like basically the collection of different like reusable components. And this is the batch. So here, these will be up to you in my upcoming React Job Simulator. I won't implement them yet, but yeah, you can do that later. So here we have different sizes, colors, and then also the icon here. So the task now is to implement all of these states, and this is something where Storybook is really useful. So let's check. Since we have this icon here, this should be a component probably, and not only a style component. And so I will create this one already. Batch props. So this is just for testing for now. Here we will export batch from batch. Okay, and then I would like to have the story. We already have one story here, so I don't need to type this by hand. Dot stories. Okay, and that's the naming convention. Here we have batch. To need the router. This is okay, and now just we will remove this for now. Okay, this should be enough for now. Now npm run Storybook, I guess. Oops. So this runs Storybook now. Storybook is kind of a standalone application that only renders the the stories here defined, and this is very nice for UI testing. So here, for example, this is what we built last week, and now you can see there's a new folder called batch here, and this is already rendering the test the test component. So I will close this one. Yeah. So now we can already start with the first one. So we have different sizes, and yeah, we can check how each of those is implemented. So this has a specific height probably. So the padding here is slightly different, and the height is different. So this should be easy to adjust. The font size is probably also. We have this here the font size is defined in the UI kit, basically, or we will move it to the theme, I guess. Yeah. So this should be fairly simple. Let's start with a small one and then go from there. So this doesn't have, here we also have the border radius. So I guess in this case, we might be able to get away by just copy pasting some of this code here. So let's go with this. So first let's import styled components. Then we can call this container, for example, with styled, and then I'm not sure, it should be fine, I guess. As far as I know, it's not clickable, so we can keep the display flags. Padding horizontal, so something like this. We don't need this. So primary 50, where we don't have this color yet in the, keep this in the style guide, in the theme. So let's see how that looks like. It already comes pretty close, I guess. Now, I'm not sure why this is filling the whole content. Maybe we need to wrap this into a div. Also, let's see. Okay, not yet. We will get there soon, I guess. So this one we can replace with our nice space function, and then let's see. So theme space, so this is 2, 8 pixel, 16 pixels, 1 rem, 8 pixels, 0.5, so it will be space 2. And this one, the border radius, let's see, 16 pixel, 16 pixel, right? Okay, so this is space 1, space 4. 4. Yes. Okay. Now I have a larger screen here as well, just for maybe I should zoom in here as well. So let's check what this looks like. Let's see, actually not CSS fit content. Okay, this should be Okay, this should work fine. Then and then we should also have a height, and this is, let's see, we're working on this one here. This has a height of 22 pixel. Yeah, so this isn't part of our standard. So 1375. Let's see. Okay. Now the next thing is the font size. And as you can see here, it's 1218. Not sure, do we have this in our theme yet? Yeah, looks like that. Sorry. So X as medium. Theme. So font size. This is display, this is text, I guess. So 12 pixel, 0.75 rem, 918. Okay. Let's quickly define that here and move that later to the theme. So this was 0. And where's it? 1 to 5. Let's check again. So, and this was actually XS, so even smaller. No, that's correct. Okay. So 12 pixel, then font weight is 500. And then we should also have a color, I guess. So this one. This looks a bit different to me, but it's probably the color and yeah, let's see. Let's call this label as well. So we can have it children, then actually I'm not sure. Should we call that label? Let's start with this React node. Do I actually need that? Yes, okay. Okay, now we have children here. And now in this story we can label. So let's also, to make this easier to double check, add some style here, and then padding, I don't know, 50. So it's not at the corner here, but a bit easier to see. And yeah, we can now actually take a screenshot. So and overlay this. I won't do that here actually, but in the other view here. So let's overlay that with a screenshot. Thought I took the screenshot, but maybe. So now again, paste from clipboard. Yeah, perfect. So now I actually zoomed in here, so this will be, or didn't I? Zoom out. Okay, so now it should be fine. Okay, something doesn't, you can see it's not really fitting. There's something with a space, I guess. Doesn't really work. And apart from that, so you can see this is the design, and it's actually smaller than what we have here. So I did the reset. Let's also check if the this is actually 100. This is a bit tricky, of course, when you maybe I should just export this to be safe. Export batch. And the first layer. Yeah, so this is smaller, obviously. Okay. So let me quickly check what's going on here. So font size is, let's see, 14 pixel. Okay, so I used the wrong 0.75 and then, okay. Yeah, I just didn't use the correct line here. Let's see. And this looks already much better. Can even see it fits almost perfectly. That's good enough for me. So this extension here is called Perfect Pixel, and it's really nice, as you can see, to overlay your components with the designs. Like most of the components or designs, you won't match them 100%, which is also totally fine. But like I'm a developer, I'm not a designer, so I don't really see the small differences from time to time. But designers often see like even minor differences. So it's always good to quickly check at least and get it close to the design. And as you saw here, the font size was 2 pixels too large. So let's get back to the UI kit here. So this first one is already done, but this should be dynamic, of course. So we will leave the colors for now, but I would like to move the font sizes to the theme. Now let's see. We already have the font face defined here. So let's define. I'm not sure where to put these, like. So we can define different font faces. So this is typically something that you do maybe once in the application or only a few times. So I always have to look up stuff like this. And this is also not really what I wanted. But I guess I will go this way and then okay, yeah. Let's check what. Okay, we did that already. Okay, that doesn't go really into depth. I'd like to see if there's some best practices, something that we can copy paste instead of making something up. Theme font family also doesn't. So here they load different fonts. So that's not really what I want. Not sure if we should do something like this. So for example, and then redefine everything. fonts. And then if we have SM, we use XS, and then something like this. So so this is something that we could do, XS and then D, I guess. This would be the alternative. And then we could just use this like then theme.fonts font.xs.md. Font. So let's check if that works. This looks fine. So yeah, honestly, I'm not sure what's the smartest way here. If you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. I will probably go with this for now. So let's check what we have. A lot of fonts here. Theme. So these are all the fonts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. Not sure if we need this display. If we focus on text only, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here as well. I guess. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 11, 44 different things that we need to define. Yeah, I will leave it as this for now and just continue building this thing and have to think about it later. So this one is different. This is text SM medium, so this is 14 and then 20. Let's define these as well. SM and this is then MD, I guess. And this is also SM. Okay. It's interesting. So we only need these two at the moment. We have to add them to the style here. So let's make another interface font. And this would be let's see. Font weight. Yeah, doesn't really matter. Okay, let's do it like this. XS, then MD string it is, I guess. And then SM. Actually, let's do it like this. So XS and then font. Okay, so XS and SM. Okay, and then I would also like to introduce a new function here. Just have the same thing basically. Font and then size and the weight, I guess. And this would be key of font, and then let's use this font, size, and weight. And now also add a test here. This one should be easy. So, font. Font is hopefully this works now actually. Let's see. Font and now SM. MD. Let's run this test. npm run test. So this is to be expected, of course. And now this is an array. Okay. So let's check. Then we have a few new lines as well. Okay, this is a bit annoying. To be actually not really interested to contain, to include. Let's see. In the list now to let's quickly check the documentation. Just string okay, this would be just make sure to contain. So of course now it's, let's see. Okay, so this seems to work. That's honestly enough for me. So now we have the font size, the line height, and the weight. Yep. So this should confirm that this function is working. And now let's get this SMMD. Maybe it would make sense to use an object here as parameter, like this, size and weight, but yeah, for now let's keep it like it is. Size and weight, yeah. Okay, so we have this. Now we can accept the first prop, or we can actually make the first commit. I'm still on this typical mistake, of course. Name. So first I will stash all my changes, go to the main branch and pull. So now we should have the theme files here, exactly. And now let me quickly create a new branch. And this is batch component. Git stash pop. So now we have the files again here. We can create our first commit. Creates batch small. So and now the next thing is that we want to have different sizes for this batch. So we should accept another prop here, and this would be size. Now we can use an enum batch size MD and always confused by enums and types. SMMD and LG, I guess, with 3, yes. Batch size. And let's see, so size. And now we will pass that size to the container. Container doesn't know this yet, so size, batch size. And now let's see, the height changes, the padding changes, the border radius doesn't change, but the font changes according to this. So now we can use props and then switch and props size. Case batch size, and we have SM now, and now we will return CSS and CSS not defined yet. I guess we need to import that. Okay, now of course like this doesn't work yet, so let's add this here, size, and then batch. We didn't export the type yet, so the enum should be exported so we can use it anywhere. Now batch size, size.sm, and it's actually not parameters, but it should be args, I guess. And now let's see size. Okay, so now this works fine, and let's introduce the other two. So we have MD and LG. And let's see, this is actually XS and this is SM. So I defined these. This is XS and this is SM. Did I? Okay, I just duplicated the styles but didn't change that. So this should be 14 and 20. And let's see the theme, they give the correct REM value, so 0875 and 125. 875 and 125. Now we use this. This should be XS MD. This should be SM. Yeah. Now let's check components. Like it. Now the height is 24 pixel. 24. 1.5 obviously. So this is 1.5 REM. Padding is 10. So let's see, theme 10 pixels, I guess I said. That's probably 3. So 3. Let's see if we have these actually 1375. No, we don't have that. So let's hard code all of these values for the height. This is 28. Looks a bit inconsistent if we have 175. We take one from the theme from my perspective. So let's check. So here you can see the values, which are basically the enums. You can see now that it's better to define them in this case as strings. Now these should pop up here. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually easier to see here. So this changes, then let's see the padding here. So this is 12. Let me quickly check again the spacing guidelines. Okay, so this is 12. We have this odd 10 pixel in between. This is not really cool, I think. This means that the designer didn't stick to the to their own style guide. So let's see. 0.625. So if we want to stick to the design, this would be correct, but you can see it's a bit ugly. And here we can click through. This is also strange. I would talk to the designer again if we shouldn't use a larger font size here. But for now, let's leave it like this. I will create a to-do maybe in the ticket. So font size for LG badge. Okay, so we don't forget about that. Yeah, but apart from that, I guess this looks already quite good. Let's quickly double check. Or made this mistake before, so sport badge and MD. And this one, sport badge, LG. You can also see that like even creating such a small component is already a lot of work. So this is definitely the advantage of UI libraries. But as I said, yeah, we don't, the designs here don't stick to the, to a certain UI framework component library. So I have the label here. And this looks okay-ish, good enough for me. And then let's also check the MD and LG. And here it is. Yeah, also good enough. Wondering if there's some some space, like letter spacing involved. Let's quickly check. Doesn't look like that. Okay, let's leave it like this and create a commit again. Okay. Let's see, my pre-commit hook failed. Sure why I can find open GitLab. Okay. Okay. Batch TSX. Are you sure? I'm not sure. It's interesting that it doesn't give me a warning here. So let's quickly check. This must be it. 678, the line numbers here, 678. And ESLint complains in the pre-commit hook, but not in the IDE, which is a bit strange. So let's npm run lint. Should give the same result, I guess. But why? And the thing is, we actually use them as well, so here they are used, right? I'm not sure why this happens, to be honest. So I could go down the road and disable. Sure. Usually just copy paste these, so sure, this is guesswork now, so no used Mars. Let's run. Okay, this would work, but it's obviously pretty stupid to do that. Let's quickly check if Google knows a solution. TypeScript enum unused. So somebody seems to be a common problem. Okay, so it seems that we might be using the ESLint version and not the TypeScript ESLint version. Let's check how we can do that. TypeScript ESLint. tsconfig. ESLint iirc. Maybe this ESLint recommended is actually the root error. TypeScript ESLint, okay. So again, a setup problem that I'm running into. So this should work. Let's check if we have TypeScript ESLint and the parser installed. Doesn't look like that. So maybe we need to change that quickly. I hope this works. Let's see. So let's install the parser and the plugin. Here they are. And let's check this again. So ESLint. Now it's actually also popping up here. So ESLint CGS. So we need parser. So extends video. Then we should use this one probably. And then we have the plugins here. Plugins is already there. Okay, so we add this, and hopefully we'll be fine now. Okay, perfect. This seems to have been it. So let me quickly do And now we had add support for batch sizes. Okay, cool. Now the next steps would be the colors here. That's something that we need to do, and then the icons. So we only need to change the background color and the font color. We also need to define these colors in the theme, I guess. So let's check. Gray we also already defined primary error warning success. I guess that's it, right? Yes. And then 750. So it's 700 and 100 here. 750. Okay. So just to make this a bit faster, I will I won't define all the colors here, but okay. And then we have 50 and 700. 700, okay. Let's remove these. And now so 50, 700, then error 50 and 700. So this is the boring stuff that you sometimes have to do. And now 700. Okay, let's add the colors also here. So it's primary error warning and success. And now I will fill this later on. I don't have to bore you with that. So now we can have another switch statement. Hope this works fine. Let's see. Props. Yeah, actually. let's again create an enum here. Maybe we could actually get this enum also from somewhere else, but because we already defined the types, and here we will use gray will be actually, let's make, not that this is the default, but it's kind of signals that primary will be the default warning. And success. Okay, patch color. Now we also want to have this in the batch props. So is anything wrong here? I'm not sure. Okay, we still have here. So now let's see, switch color. Case dot what do we have now with the primary? So background and this one here. And now we should actually replace this with color and then with primary and it's 50. And this is color and 700, I guess. Sure, it's not assignable to, okay, let's quickly check. We don't have this here defined, but I guess we have that. Should also be 25, so we missed those. And now let's also add this one here next. Maybe we could even make it nicer and like this, for example, because gray, I guess, uses the 100 as background and default, and now this is actually props.color. So I guess we should be able to do something like this. And I would also like to make these optional, and the default would then be MD batch size MD and the color batch color dot, I guess the default is primary, and then let's see. So now we don't have to define those, and let's click. Okay, this obviously didn't work. Okay. Did we actually? We didn't define that yet. So batch color. Now we have can also use props, and then I think we can destructure those. But let's quickly check what this props console.log. So this is nice trick to just have a quick console log introduced here. And we have some error. Okay, let's change that again. Okay, now hopefully this works. Yeah, cool. Okay, I guess I will stop here. So what's left is we don't have the icon state yet. I'm not sure if I will actually implement that for now, because like the UI doesn't seem to need that, as you can see here. So warning. So it doesn't really include an icon yet. So we can actually leave it as it is. Yeah, I will check with the designer to see if this was on purpose, or if the font size of the large pad should be the same as MD. Yeah, and I guess that should be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that.